Why we are paying taxes for the governments to rule us and also bring the rule set that's going to create a world that is oppression free. When we see some other people doing that, we want to say like they're not doing anything. Why shall I do it? I will 100% see myself going vegan or vegetarian if I see the majority of the population around me goes vegan.
You want to try it?
Hi, yeah.
Nice. I saw you looking from there.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Dennis.
Dennis. Nice to meet you, Dennis. I'm Chip. So, Dennis, how do you feel about oppression?
Oppression.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like everywhere someone is feeling oppression at any given moment.
Do you think it's right? Do you think is oppression okay by your morals?
Absolutely not. But I think the definition of oppression is, manipulated by many people, especially the ones who are doing the oppression.
So, just to be clear, oppression means cruel or unjust treatment.
Exactly. So, like, the thing is the definition of justice, the unjust treatment. So many people could defend or stand against what's happening in Palestine now.
Yeah.
So, many people are still saying it's not an oppression. That's
Okay.
what I mean.
Okay, this isn't going to be a political conversation,
right.
by the way. So, how do you feel? Do you think that the powerful should have the right to oppress the powerless,
Absolutely not.
even if it benefits them? And by them, I mean the powerful.
Absolutely not.
And even if the powerless looked different,
Absolutely not, for sure.
and even if the powerless don't realize that they're oppressed.
Absolutely not. Of course.
Okay, I love it. And even if the powerful would have a difficulty stopping oppressing.
That's their job, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the responsibility comes with the power, and it's your job to resist against your maybe humane urge to take a bigger share from the cake and stop the oppression.
So do you think that the powerful, if they're oppressing, have the obligation to stop oppressing?
I think so.
Okay, so keep all these questions in mind when I ask you this final question. How do you feel about the animals that we force into slaughterhouses for us?
Oof.
Do you think we're oppressing them?
I do think we are oppressing them, yes. Anyone who is stronger than the others or like pushing other creatures, be it animals or plants, we are oppressing.
So given that, like, do you consume any animal products?
I do.
Do you see there's a contradiction there between?
I do. I do see that.
Yes.
As I said, I think the oppression by the powerful is part of our world now.
Yeah.
Between humans, between any kind of living creatures, and I think it shouldn't exist.
But you said that the powerful should have the obligation to stop, right?
Correct.
So do you think you have the obligation to stop oppressing animals?
I don't, because I don't think I am the one in power.
No, but you are the one making the decision to oppress a certain animal, right? The animals when you buy an animal product, the animals that were oppressed for that product are because you paid for that.
Exactly, but you can say the same thing for anyone who is actually going to Starbucks or McDonald's now, or anyone who is buying the makeup products, right?
Yeah, you could say that for all those people.
Yeah.
So, and I would say all of them have the obligation to stop doing that.
But that's why we are paying taxes for the governments to rule us and also bring the rule set that's going to create a world that is oppression free for every living creature on earth.
But you yourself are supporting the oppression of these animals. It's a
Yeah.
difference, right? Because you give your money every time you buy an animal product, you give your money directly to animal oppression.
Correct.
You support it financially. You say you're
Absolutely.
against it, but then you support it financially.
Correct, because I feel like I am being left in that situation. Because even when you go to a supermarket, the options on the vegan products are much less. They are much
But there
more
are.
expensive.
There are options.
But not everywhere. For example, Netherlands is a country that is actually very progressed in that
Yeah.
sense. When you look at it compared to the rest of the world, it's not even 1% of the consumption is here. The same thing goes with the recycling. So in our world, humans.
But let me ask you this: if you found out tomorrow that you're allergic to animal products, all of the animal products, would you find a way to make it work?
I will.
Yeah. So then, why not try to make it work right now? Like, why do you think that it's not urgent or important enough to stop oppressing animals that you can't make it work now?
Because I need to consider my own, let's say, profit, benefits, you can say, the same way that you mentioned the oppression. That's, I think, the logic behind it. Because we as humans are having hard time standing against that humane instinct to exploit other creatures, humans and animals, as I said. That's why this is becoming a challenge for us, is an internal challenge, and also keep the ones, even in the way that I say, keep the governments responsible to establish the education, establish the availability of the
But
products.
governments do not do the right thing. Okay, governments do the popular thing, right?
Correct.
So what if most of the people want to consume animal products? Governments will not restrict consuming animal products, even if they disagree and they think it's oppression, right?
Absolutely, it's a
So
chicken and egg thing. Isn't
yeah,
it? Yeah.
but you yourself can choose whether you want to be part of the oppression or not.
Correct.
So when you buy an animal product, you choose directly to be not just to be part of it, but to support it, to make it grow.
Correct.
So why not stop doing that? That's my question to you. Like, why not?
Because you always feel like it is always there's always someone who's bigger to blame on, like the plastic consumptions also like that. So like you always think that you are consuming plastics, we are like creating a lot of
But if you had the option between plastic and paper, you would obviously choose paper, right?
I do, but for example, we have the option to bring our own bottles to detergents and then we refill them and
Yeah.
reuse them again and again. But
Yeah.
we don't do that. It's the same.
Yeah, but
Because
it's not the same because the difference is that uh, this is a direct response where one sentient individual, one being,
Yeah.
gets exploited and slaughtered for you for something that is optional to you.
Yeah, but same for the detergents because like when you are using like single-use plastics again and again, because of your action that you can actually stop at any given moment, that is causing another living creature to suffer.
Perhaps it can, right? But like whether that happens or not, it's not necessarily uh, how should I put it, 100% certainty. Whereas with this one, it's 100% certainty, and with this one, you always have a choice.
How about using the single-use plastics are 100% affecting
Okay,
the
but like
animals in ocean?
Interrupting Chip here. If you're worried about plastic in the ocean, then there's this interesting article written by the Ocean Cleanup that explains where all the plastic in the ocean comes from. If you've never heard of them, they're an organization that tries to clean up the ocean from plastic. In their article, they explain that most of the plastic from high-income countries is actually handled quite well and mostly doesn't end up in the ocean. They go into details on how they made the assessment, so I urge you to read that article. However, they also explain how over 80% of the plastic from the ocean is coming from the fishing industry. And the plastic from the fishing industry is made to survive in the water, so it doesn't float or end up on the shore, but rather stays there and does even more damage to the ecosystem. So, not to make this intermission too long, but if you have a problem with plastic in the ocean, then the best thing you can do is not finance the fishing industry. So, being vegan is a great solution for the problem with plastic in the ocean.
let's say with single-use plastic, you don't always have a choice. Whereas with this one, you absolutely always have a choice. And even if you want to stop using single-use plastics, stop using single-use plastic,
Exactly.
right? But why I'm standing here, like there's obviously different issues in the world, but the one that I'm standing here is the fact that we're oppressing animals. And I'm asking you, why are you continuing to oppress animals? And what you're saying is that, well, because others do it, because we've been doing it for so long, which you yourself said before that
Correct.
the powerful shouldn't be doing that to the powerless. So
Correct.
there is a contradiction there. So what?
Absolutely. I mean, it's as I said, like, I mean, I'm not trying to bring the topic to other
Yeah.
ones. It's the dilemma of humanity that we always choose what's easy, what's more conventional, what's better for us.
But we also improve as humanity, right? There's people who I talked to today who said they want to stop. So my question to you is, why do you not want to stop, right? Like you are faced right now with a choice.
Correct.
You are going forward. Let's assume that at some point there will be no more animals being oppressed, right? So what you got to ask yourself going forward is, do you want to be part of the oppression of the oppressors, or the part of the people who stopped oppression?
I mean, I think I will be the one who is actually following the crowd because,
So
like,
oppressing,
not,
being violent.
at this moment, I will say yes because being a pioneer of any change is always most difficult one, and I will 100% see myself going vegan or vegetarian if I see the majority of the population around me goes vegan, if I see the majority of the products in the supermarkets are vegan.
So would you apply the same logic to, let's say, if there were dogs? If there were dogs being exploited, would you apply the same logic? Would you say, I wait for others to stop exploiting dogs?
If it has been the same way that we were brainwashed for thousands of years.
No. You yourself right now. You yourself, in your situation.
Not me, because like we are.
So what is the difference between a dog and a cow that says it's okay to oppress one but not the other?
It's not okay to oppress one to another. The reason that.
Well, what you're saying is that I won't stop oppressing cows because I want to wait until others stop oppressing them.
Because like I was at
But for dogs, you don't say this. So what is the
yeah,
difference?
because I wasn't brought up in a society, unlike like in some countries in the world, they see completely fine with eating dogs. Uh, I mean, in the way that I was brought up, dogs are friends, and I do see the hypocrisy in that one, like between
Yeah.
cows, where do you draw the line? I mean, that's absolutely right. As I
But
said,
if I were to be brought up in a society where it says it's okay to beat women,
yeah,
would that make it okay for me to beat women? And would it make it okay for me to say I'll continue beating women until others stop?
I mean, absolutely, it doesn't make it okay, but this is actually the case in a huge portion of the world.
Yeah.
A lot of the, like
But
many
you're
countries.
imagine that you right now you're on the other fence of it, right? You're
Correct.
on the fence of beating the woman. You're beating
Correct.
the animals. You're supporting a system of violence. You're directly being violent towards animals.
Correct.
So why not? If you can't choose to stop, why not choose to stop?
Because it's difficult to change the way that we are what we are used to. I mean, the change is difficult for everyone. Like the same way for someone who is somewhere in the world who thinks it's okay to beat women, or we are actually maybe a little lower than someone who is absolutely not using any plastic or like reusing their bottles all the time. So like that would be I will see is a higher.
But do you think you have the obligation to stop?
I mean, I will maybe it's an easy escape for me to say that it's a bigger responsibility for the people who I pay that needs to set up the system.
There's two things logically. Logically speaking, okay. This isn't about me playing word games with you. There's two logical ways. You either believe that you have the right to oppress animals,
Yeah.
or you think you have the obligation. There's no in between these two.
But what about believing that I don't have the right,
That means you have the obligation.
but still doing it? Just like we
So
are.
that means you have the obligation to stop, but you continue doing it.
Exactly. I'm failing to follow my responsibility towards Earth.
Yeah, but this is just a cop out, isn't it? You're just trying to justify it by saying, okay, well, I know it's bad, I know I keep doing it, but like everybody does it. It's not good enough, man. It's not.
I totally agree. I will say the same thing. I mean, for smoking, right?
But smoking affects you only. This affects others. It's not smoking. This is literally you being violent towards others.
Correct, correct. I mean, smoking kind of affects like the society, the people around you. Also, the our health system is also getting affected by everything. You are also like not as much as slaughtering them, obviously, but yeah, like as I said, I mean, there's also a little bit of a now. I'm thinking the reasons that why it will be difficult for me to go
Yeah.
vegan. It's also there's a nutritious aspect of it, but
I can give you resources to help with the nutrition and all of this, also to help you curb the habit. But you gotta want to do this, right? Because if you think that it's okay to continue oppressing, then for whatever reason you
I
find
don't think it's. I don't say it's okay. I think we need to change.
but saying that it's not okay doesn't mean anything if you continue doing it.
Correct.
Like
Correct.
me saying that it's not okay to be violent towards people means nothing if I continue being violent.
Absolutely, absolutely. As I said, like the being part of the change is the most difficult part in every change. But like you said, the humanity is evolving. We are not doing so many things that we used to do in the past, and we knew. I mean, so many other things. Slavery, everybody knew it was wrong, but they were still doing it.
But listen, like it's very easy to discuss about humanity and large masses of population because when we do this, we absolve ourselves of the responsibility we have as individuals. But you have a responsibility as an individual to act, to not do this to them.
Correct.
So, and you can choose to not do this to them. And you maybe you find it hard, but it's not hard. I'll tell you right here, right now, it's not hard, and I can help you with resources for that. But you still have to want to stop. And by want, I don't mean I think it's bad, I think it's good. Not just lip service, but actual actions.
For sure. I mean, there's nothing I disagree on that one. Like I said, I was pointing out the nutrition fact. I'm not saying that like you cannot get your food from plants. Obviously, you can.
Yeah.
But like it also connects back to the responsibility of the corporate companies or the governments, where we find it easier to put the responsibility on. And if they make more nutritious food cheaper and more available, I mean, the government can support it by actually serving the vegan or at least vegetarian food for
But the
schools.
governments cannot do that when you pay for it. You say you want governments to do this, but again, you do the same thing. I don't want this to happen to animals. I don't want to be part of it. I want governments to act differently.
Yeah.
But your actions say completely different. Like what you say and what you do are two separate things.
Correct, but I mean, it's also the part of the government's responsibility, as I see, to educate the
No, it's
people.
your responsibility to not, like I'm educating you right now. like, and it's your responsibility to act. It's not the government. It's not the government that needs to do it. It's you.
If there will be more available products that are equally nutritious.
Where you live? Where are you from?
Berlin, Germany.
Berlin. Come on, man. Berlin is like. Are you kidding me? Berlin is like the third. Like it has so many vegan options.
That's true. Like by the way,
everywhere.
don't get me wrong. I'm eating a lot of like vegan restaurants.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm not like only carnivore diet, but like I'm not refraining from eating meat when I am served one.
Yeah, but you see what I mean? Like you're kind of like you're dodging your responsibility, but the reality is you have options, readily available options. You have good, cheap options in Berlin. You have everything you need, and yet you don't do it. So why not? Why not do it?
I think I will be the one of the easily convinced ones, as I said, if it becomes the standard, as I said.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything.
It's not good enough, right?
It's not. Is it good enough? Like if you were in their shoes, would you find it good enough for somebody to say, "I'll just wait for it until everybody else does it"?
No, for sure no, for sure no. But like I said, with everything else happening, and also I think one of the problems in today's world that when we see someone slipping out of their responsibilities, like that avoiding and stopping,
Like you do now.
yeah, exactly. No, when we see some other people doing that, we want to say like they're not doing anything. Why shall I do it? Like it's
Because you have to live with the consequence of being violent towards animals.
true, but I mean, what I'm trying to, let's say, give the parallelism in is like when we are being told that you cannot use certain plastic products, while there is, after the Super Bowl, in 45 minutes, there were 400 private jets leaving the city, which is emissioning like.
You know, none of that means anything. That's environmental things. I'm talking about animal rights here.
I mean, environment is part of the earth. I see it as all.
Yeah,
as
but
well.
you know, for the environment, it would be good if we were to slaughter half the population on Earth. Does that make it okay?
I would actually say yes, because I believe that humans are the disease of this planet.
Ah, come on. No, this is a cop-out. Let me just give you a card. I think this discussion is going nowhere. Let me just give you a card. Like you live in Berlin, man. Come on. It's you have an obligation to stop. This isn't. I'm just being. I'm trying to be direct with you and truthful.
I
You know,
100% understand.
like
As I
it's.
said, I support
If you were
those.
in the shoes of the animals, but supporting means nothing. Okay, so what the bare minimum that you can do is stop supporting the oppression. That's the bare minimum. Afterwards, yeah, you can do what I do. You can join a group where you also fight for the animal rights. That's on top, but the bare minimum is not oppressing them. If you oppose it, the bare minimum is to not do
I
it.
totally agree with that.
And you have options readily available. Berlin, it's like there's no excuse. There's no excuse. Go on this website, type in this code. Well, sorry, scan this or go on this website and type this code. Watch this one, Gary Roski, the most important speech you'll ever hear.
I'm going to challenge your belief systems today, so certain parts of the speech will be intense.
It's not gruesome content, okay?
No, I mean, I'm okay with that because I saw it. I mean, every time I see something like that, I say, like, okay, no more meat.
For all of us, the first step was acknowledging that what we're doing is wrong.
Absolutely.
And the second step is not participating in it. And even if it's a little bit hard, sometimes, you know, the best things in life are not easy.
Coming from the change.
Yeah.
No, I absolutely agree with everything you said. Like, I find it, as I said, like similar to smoking.
Yeah.
Obviously, the impact is much more direct.
I would say it's similar to slavery, if you ask me.
Yeah, you can say that.
It's animal slavery, that's what it
Correct.
is.
In different scales, sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, like it's difficult. It's difficult to be the pioneers of a change.
Challenge 22, they hook you up with a nutritionist, they send you vegan recipes every day to help you curb the habit. If you scan this on this website, there's also like somebody can log in with you on the Discord server and help you even further.
Yeah.
There's personalized help. There's everything you need is there. You have all the resources.
Yeah, I will definitely do that. Thank you so much.
What was your name again?
Dennis.
Dennis. Don't make excuses, Dennis, okay? It's for the animals. How many more animals have to die or have to be oppressed before you stop?
Oh, it should be zero, right?
Should be 0.
Okay.
Make it 0, okay?
Okay. Thank you
You
so
can do it. It's easy. Just trust me, it's easy.
I will
okay?
try. I will try.
Okay, love
Thanks
it.
so
Thank you, Dennis.
Have a nice day.
Have a good one.